Hey guys, King of Charmander here, to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my early meta-analysis for the season. I don't know if you want to call it 11 or 12. We're just going to assume it's 11 because Interlude season was called Interlude instead of season 11. For the season 11 early meta-analysis for the Great League Remix. So the Great League Remix had a few bans here and there, but a few things actually dodged the ban list. And, well, yeah, a few things actually dodged the ban list, and you're gonna hate it over and over again. It was presented in many different metas, and it's been prevalent up until it got a buff, and I have no ideas of why you would give it a buff, and you probably know what it is, but we're gonna show it on this video. So for the Great League Remix for this season, it's really stale, as with most of the Great League Remix nowadays, just because a lot of things are super meta now. You're gonna see a very repetitive thing go over and over again, and something that recently released as a shadow, even though shadow Pokemon don't function the way they do in the main series games, and we somehow, everybody's a Pokemon Go, it's really stupid. Shadow Pokemon aren't supposed to be powerful staying a shadow. They're supposed to be weaker as a shadow. You're supposed to purify and make them shadow. But Pokemon Go doesn't do that, just like how they can't fix Pokemon Go PvP, so they gotta do something else to make themselves interesting, so. Anyways, before we get started, my therapist mental health tip of the day. I know a lot of you have been clamoring for this, but my therapist mental health tip of the day is going to be, there's a beginning and then there's an end. So the reason why I say this is because today I just terminated with some of my kiddos. I'm a school therapist and I had to make it very aware that, hey, today is going to be your last day and I'm going to miss them very much. You can, as when you do therapy with kids, especially as a teacher and whatnot, and you've worked in this field for so long, you hold a special bond with them, and it hits different as a therapist because a therapeutic relationship is much different than a whole lot of other things. In a therapeutic relationship, you have the ability and the ethical ability to treat mental illness and hopefully either mitigate or hopefully cure your clients so that they can go into remission and go about their lives and become great. And I'm pretty happy to say that I've been able to treat all of my school clients. I would say all of them have gotten better. I wouldn't say completely, but for most of them, I've been able to treat most of their illnesses. Some of them have permanent mental illness, so it's always going to linger. Like I have PTSD. Some of them have PTSD, so it's going to carry them for the rest of their lives. But when your stress level is super low and you learn how to manage that, your symptoms definitely exuberate and they don't flare up and affect your life. So you can manage it and you can live a pretty normal life even though you have this thing on you. So really proud of that. But yes, basically, when you go into therapy, you must always be aware that there's always going to be an end. Yes, you can be in therapy for years, but at one point in some shape and time, that relationship must end. And like I did so with my kiddos this year. It's been absolute hell considering a pandemic has been going on. I've been trying to go through grad school. I want to get my master's in clinical. I want to do everything so I become a licensed and full-fledged therapist. And to do that in the state of the world with a pandemic going on and mass shootings, I can talk about that some other video. The world is pretty crazy right now. But somehow, some way, I was able to do it and help them. And that makes me very happy. So yes. But just like right now, there are bad things going on in Go Battle League. There are good things. Unfortunately, the bad things seem to never end, but there will be an end. Whether there be a Pokemon Go 2 in the future or Pokemon Go eventually and finally eats the bucket because there's only so many Pokemon to release in this game, there will be an end to Pokemon Go, and there will be an end to Go Battle League one of these days. So, yes. Just putting that out there. So, they're good and a bad thing, and that's good for mental health because when you have permanent mental illness, yes, it never goes away, but that doesn't mean it has to suck now. It can get better. And if you go to a licensed clinician, maybe one day you too can get better. So whatever you're going through right now, the sorrow, the thing, I'm terribly sorry that you're going through this, but may you overcome it, and one day it will end, and you become a champion. And without further ado, this is my early meta-analysis for Season 11, Great League Remix, and let's get started. Alright, so our overall analysis for the Great League Remix, Registeel going Registeel. Registeel is the #1 overall pick in this cup. Of course, you know why. People have used it in regionals. It's been prevalent in Open Great League since Zap Cannon buff, and yet there is no reason to make this trash can as powerful as it is. Of course, I'm incredibly biased because my Mega Beam team actually featured Registeel in it. For those of you that were fans of King of Charmanders way back in the day before all these people that I don't know started streaming, creating content. I'm like, who are you? And yeah, way back in the day, my Mega Beam team consisted of Registeel, Tropius, and Typhlosion. And I'm really happy to see Registeel be super powerful again, but not in this case where it's just absolutely... One, it's inaccessible because Registeel, there's no Registeel raids as of right now. Inaccessible unless you know someone or buy one off eBay. You can't access it, and overall it's really great for Go Battle League because the privileged are able to play, and you can't make Go Battle League won't grow exponentially if this high barrier to entry continues to exist, and I'll rant about some other video. But yes, Registeel gone Registeel. And speaking of other barrier to entry, XLs. XL Lickitung and XL Desert are extremely powerful in this cup, and so is Vigoroth. Vigoroth has always been a very powerful safe switch in Open Great League, and overall has done really well just because counter is so dang OP. Now, Daddy Cash is here to take your money, and it has created a rise, but it's because it beats Alola Marowak and Registeel. The big reason, and I'll key on this more on the safe switches, is Alola Marowak Shadow. It factually is really freaking good because of the fact that Shadow Bone does so much damage, especially with debuffs, and especially if it hits for super effective damage. That's why Alola Marowak Shadow has... It's not overpowered, there are things can beat it, but it is also incredibly powerful. Alola Marowak was always incredibly powerful in Great League, and its Shadow version with energy and shield advantage makes it essentially like a Frostless with it's basically like a Frostless. It's like a Shadow Frostless on fire. That's basically what Marowak is. Arguably, Frostless is more dangerous, but Alola Marowak is factually a lot more powerful just because of the fact of the Shadow Bone damage and the potential to debuff, and its moves don't take a ton of energy to get to. You risk a Bone Club, you could bait with Bone Club and then nuke your opponent to oblivion, and there's a lot of things you could do with Shadow AWAC. But that's the overall analysis. But... oh, Great League Remix sucks. That's all I really have to say. A lot of these are super meta. There are some really odd picks, like for example, Machamp comes back to take the reins. Fighting comes back because Normal is up on the chain. Ninetales comes back because of its ability to take on Registeel as well as Frostless. The Ice archetype isn't as dominant as usual just because Registeel exists. Registeel, Alola Marowak, and even the normal types because you have Frostless that's a Ice and Ghost type. So yes, and plus yes. This meta is on fire, literal fire. Well, 3 of them are fire, but you pretty much get what I'm talking about. But overall, yes, super meta returns and looks very similar to the Great League remixes from the past. Alright, now for the leads analysis, your best lead is going to be Lickitung XL. I hopefully agree with this. With Lickitung XL, you do beat Alola Marowak, and you can take a ton of Bone Clubs. Basically, Alola Marowak is in a lot of danger if you see Lickitung. Lickitung is also able to take out things like Araquanid, Power Whip, Witch Cash to Oblivion. You can absolutely body Frostless as well because you lick it to death, and overall it's just a super tank from hell. So it being the #1 lead, of course it's going to be very, very good. Barely being beat out by Registeel in the 2 shield, and it is incredibly powerful in multiple different positions. So that's why in the lead, you got Licky XL. Good for you. I don't have one yet because I haven't rated enough Lickitung XL, and I ain't thinking going to take my money unless it's like an event ticket like GoFest where I get to meet a lot of my friends and whatnot. I'm not going to spend money on rating and whatnot. But I can trade my Lickitungs for like XL, I'll do some other things. But I don't have a good Lickitung XL, but if you do have one, you've been using it for a while, it does work for the Great League Remix. Next up, we got Shadow Alola Marowak. Shadow Bones, you're going to Shadow Bone the hell out of your opponent in the back as they bend over and cry because of the fact that it does so much damage, and it's also very good in this cup. You'll see later of why, yeah, but Shadow Alola Marowak in lead is very, very good. A team in Great League Remix that has Alola Marowak lead and 2 things to cover it is going to function well in this cup, and there are going to be a whole lot of things that are going to go on. So expect my top 5 for the Great League Remix to have Shadow Alola Marowak in it. Me, I don't have my I don't have Frustration TM'd off my Cubone yet, so I totally forgot to do one, so like it never really passed. Well, normally I will TM off all Frustrations, but Alola Marowak or Cubone was just kind of like off my list, or like I didn't really, yes. That's basically what it was. Or I didn't have one before when I TM'd it, so I won't have this bad boy to use, but then one of these days I'll use it for content, but it will be featured on my team's analysis. Next up, Registeel. Registeel... A very powerful team, if you would guess it, would be Lickitung, Alola Marowak, and then Registeel. Or you could put a combination of Registeel, Alola Marowak, and just be really strong in general. The only reason you kind of don't want to do that, though, is because you lose to fighting. But that, or you could use Marowak, Lickitung, Registeel, something of that sort. But yeah. Other than that, other top leads are going to be the normal types in Vigoroth and Diggersby, just because Diggersby is able to take out Alolan Marowak. It also threatens Registeel very heavily, so Diggersby breaks this Alolan Marowak Registeel core. And also you got Viggy. Viggy, again, like I mentioned, been powerful in Open Great League for a very long time. It's still really dang good and covers most of the top here and can nuke Alolan Marowak with Shadow if you're able to hit a Bulldoze on it. So, very powerful. Other than that, some other spicy leads you'd go with. Alolan Ninetales, even though it's hard on Food Chain, you're probably not going to see a lot of people using it just because you don't really have any coverage with it. As you see, it's all fire types, so if you do happen to have a Wishcash or a Raquinate, water types, it's going to kill you. Other good leads would also be Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp with Cross Chop is able to pressure this meta very heavy, and it's still the case with things like Alolan Shadow Marowak because of the fact that you don't want to eat a Rock Slide. As a Shadow, Alolan Marowak, Shadow Marowak can get yeeted by Machamp, which is why in the lead ratings you almost near right lose with Alolan Marowak. Other than that, again, Great League Remix, dominated by a lot of super meta picks. One interesting one would probably be Golbat with Shadow, just because Shadow Golbat is able to essentially just run its way through whatever isn't top meta. As you see, it's kind of the anti-meta to the meta. Yeah, it's kind of like the anti-meta to the popular meta. Well, it dies to the meta, and then it's anti-meta to the anti-meta, if that makes sense. Alright, now for save switches. Okay, so the reason why the save switches on the top are almost all freaking normal types is simply because all of these beat Alolan Marowak. Yes, Alolan Marowak is pretty freaking good. They either beat Alolan Marowak or can beat Alolan Marowak. If you're able to bulldoze through shields, you can take out Alolan Marowak, or if you're able to pressure with body slams, etc., or with energy lead, you might be able to take it out. But yes, that's pretty much the general premise of why the top 4 is all normal types, is because you beat Alolan Marowak. Shadow Alolan Marowak isn't that powerful, however, when you do rule out things like Sableye as well as Umbreon and top dark types are removed, Alolan Marowak just cries. Of course, you can use things like Mandibuzz to wall Alolan Marowak, however, something called Registeel really likes to see Mandibuzz, so yes, you can put that out there. So, I've already gone over most of the top ones. The only interesting I have gone over is Snorlax. Body Slam Superpower is still a sweet combination of a moveset, and just Shadow Body Slam is just really, really powerful, and yes, it can in fact lick Alolan Marowak to death. It literally, yes. If you see, little Shadow Snorlax literally beats Alolan Marowak in literally every scenario unless it's up 2 shields. So, yes. You put your hand upon its hip and then you lick, 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 lick. I'm not saying that in an MA way. That's really just what it is. You know what I mean? And that's how, well, you know, you got 2 of the top 4 have lick. Come on. Work with me here. Pelipper is also a very powerful save switch. Yes, Pelipper. Yes, the Burb has returned as one of the... Burb is the word, and the Burb has returned as one of the most powerful save switches in the game. And it's able to do a lot of work against the meta. It used to do really good against Registeel, but the reason why it loses against Registeel is because of Zap Cannon. Pelipper used to laugh at Registeel because you used to resist anything Registeel had to throw at you, as in Flash Cannon and Focus Blast. But now it has Zap Cannon. So, but that doesn't take away the fact that Pelipper is still a top 10 save switch. A lot of this stuff is normal just because, like I mentioned, it's either you're going to have Alolan Shadow Marowak or you're going to kill Shadow Alolan Marowak, especially because of the fact that everybody is going to, and their mothers are going to want to use it for content or just to have fun, and it's because this thing's broken. It's not broken, it's broken if it's in certain circumstances, but in a meta like this where you don't have dark covering it, it is pretty busted. And sadly, that means the queen does fall. The queen, I mean in Frostless. Frostless is no longer an effective save switch just because of a lot of things that are able to kill it. Yes, you can lose to Shadow Champ straight cross chop just because of the fact that Shadow Champ is able to outpace the living crap out of you. As you see here, straight cross chop does wipe out the queen of the ice, the Queen Daenerys of the Great League Remix, which happens to be the Queen, the Destroyer, and now she is no longer super meta. Well, she's still super meta, but just not as effective as she would be in this current Great League Remix as she would have been in previous. You know, I always gotta ask the real questions here. Why the hell does a trash can... You know, if it was anything that was going to dethrone Shadow Electivire in the closer, it would be a glorified legendary trash can with... Oh god, excuse me for the hiccups. I'm dripping Zevia. So speaking of closer, my lungs just got closed right now because I'm drinking carbonated drinks. This doesn't have any caffeine or calories in it though, so it's highly addictive. And yes, it's basically... God, stop it, okay? Sheesh. I'm gonna leave this in the video anyways. It's too much of a pain to edit out. I always first take everything anyways. No cap. There you go. Anyways, yes. If it was gonna be anything, I was gonna beat Reggie. Oh, the Shadow. It was gonna be the glorified trash can called Reggie Steel. It is the #1 closer. Like, what the heck? But normally, Shadow Electivire with Wild Charge would outpace everything in the meta. But in this case, it does not for Reggie Steel. Reggie Ice, or all 3 of the Reggies, are still in the top closing scenarios. But, of course, with the fighters, it's kind of very risky, and the reason why Reggie Steel takes the cake is just because Zap Cannon allows it to debuff, and it does hit a lot of Pokemon for super effective. God, can I stop? I'm at the close already. I'm almost done. Yay, please. Anyways, yes, if you want to make this simple closing thing, anything that does high damage when shield... I'm gonna make this quick. When shields are down, anything with high damage goes to town. So if it has a nuke, it's gonna fly and it's going to kill. But yes, no, in the closing scenario, God! Take a deep breath, breathe. I'm a therapist. Make sure you have to do deep breathing. Dear God. Okay, I'm done. I swear, I'm done. The last thing I want to say is Frostus is queen in the closer. She still wrecks. She still balls out. Absolutely balls out. Like the Warriors did making the finals. All of you that are Mavs fans, haha! Warriors won. I'm just kidding. Luka gonna win one of these days. All respect to the Cavs. But yes, I mean not the Cavs. No respect to the Cavs. Screw the Cavs. I mean the Mavs. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna stop this before I start picking them to death. But yes, if it does high damage, it has a lot of energy and fires a lot. And just yes, if it nukes and it's high in the closer. But yes, that's why you're gonna see Reggie Steel a lot in the closing scenario. And surprisingly, down shield's Coffer is going to do a lot of damage because its ability to Shadow Ball in one hit a lot of the ghost types like Marowak. However, the reason why it's also still really bad is because of things like Lickitung, Wigglytuff, and basically normal types in general. But yes, when shields are down, nukes go to town, and Reggie Steel is it's genderless, so it doesn't have a gender. But yes, the legendary trash can will absolutely run through the Great League Remix in the closer. I think like it has in the past couple of seasons. But yes, Reggie Steel is good. So yes, use Reggie Steel. Or if you would like to have actually use fun, use a Shadow Electivire. Because Shadow Electric Donkey Kong is beast. Excuse me for all the hiccuping. I finally stopped after a good 5 minutes of just holding my breath. Just like I did, expecting any change or fix it to go Battle League for the next season. Or this current season, depending. Yeah. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. And I enjoyed your patience with me. Like, yeah. It's been a rough year as a school therapist, but you know what? Now that it's finally died down, and the new season is coming out next week. Expect early meta content for all the newer cups, as well as the top 5 for the Great League Remix coming up pretty soon. I probably won't have any Shadow Marowak content to put out there, so if you guys do have Shadow Marowak content for Great League Remix once it comes out, please let me know and then submit it to me, or just let me know via Discord, etc. My Discord's in the link, so if you like, you join it, and then let me know if you have any content on it, and then I will definitely put it out there. But yes, I don't have Shadow Alolan Marowak, but I'd like to feature one on a team, so yes, or just feature one in a Great League Remix, so yes, let me know, and I shall do the shoutcasting. I'm also looking forward to it. It's been a nice break, and it's still I'm still not finding that much motivation to get back into it, but I do like being consistent, and I don't really have too much of an excuse now that, like I mentioned, now that I'm closing half of my caseload over the summer. So yes, King of Charmander's consistent uploads shall return. So I really do appreciate every single one of you, especially all of you that still stick around and all of you that still have waited and allow me to take that said break and be full power for my profession, my day job, and allow me to do my things, and I feel refreshed and ready to get back into it. But I appreciate every single one of y'all. Do me, you know, this is what happens if we gotta practice for a bit. Some therapist I am. But yes, do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe and comment for YouTube algorithm. Stuffle Squad, you know what to do. Also, yes, I will stream on Twitch still. However, it's still gonna be only on. It's gonna switch to Thursday. No, what is it? I think I did a new schedule. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is what I'm gonna do for now. So I'll be streaming 3 times a week instead of 4. I like having my Saturdays off, and you know, the Warriors might play a game on Saturday again in the playoffs. So I need to be there for that. And I like my Saturdays off. But again, really appreciate y'all. Good luck on your Go Galaxies. Hopefully you're looking forward to the new season despite all of its woes. Video on that later, and I will see y'all on the next video.
inside of me.